I'm Jeff Funds. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Tuesday.
Yes, it's Tuesday. Do you know where your turkey is? Yeah, it's coming close.
There's plenty still roaming around out by where we live.
Oh, really?
There's lots of wild turkeys. In fact,
Free
there's
range.
one that occupies a gas station at
Really?
the corner of Parker Road and Hilltop. And
That's
he just
interesting.
wanders around, and everybody stops and takes pictures, and he just lives there at the gas station.
Nice. Do you think
Not
he's
for
there because?
long.
Yeah, I know. Do you think people are feeding him? They're coming out. They're
Oh,
like, here,
yeah,
have a Slim
sure.
Jim.
That'd be a great ad, right?
Yeah, it would be.
Snap it
Snap
into
into
a
a
Slim
Slim
Jim with a turkey.
Yeah. That's what we need. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. All right. We've got a lot to talk this hour. The Department of War with an official statement out that Captain Mark Kelly is being investigated for serious allegations of misconduct. What are we talking about? We're talking about the video he did along with 5 other Democrats encouraging the military to not obey or to disobey illegal orders, and doesn't really say what those orders are. So is this an effort to create sedition? The Trump administration thinks so. And we're going to talk all about this effort. And could Jason Crow be brought up on a similar investigation? You're not going to want to miss this conversation. Now is time, though, for news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Tuesday morning, 33 and sunny in Denver, expecting a high of 47 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, they were asking residents in Southeast Highlands Ranch to shelter in place this morning while deputies search for 2 suspects. The Sheriff's Office says the affected area was near MacArthur Ranch Road and South Quebec Street, and also included Southridge Rec Center, Arrowhead Elementary School, and Wildcat Ridge Park. There weren't many details, but deputies looking for 2 potential suspects that may not be wearing shirts. Officials have lifted a shelter in place. If you have any information or see anything, call 911. 5 people, including 3 children, died Monday in a crash, and 2 others were seriously injured. One vehicle driving southbound on Highway 83 near Franktown lost control and rolled into northbound lanes. Officials say it hit a vehicle head-on and then crashed into another. 2 other juveniles were sent to the hospital. Investigation continues. Today will be one of the busiest days on the roads for Thanksgiving travelers, according to AAA. Tomorrow will also see millions on the roads, as well as Sunday after Thanksgiving, some 73 million people expected to drive to their holiday destinations. So keep the speeds down and be patient and be careful out there. Candace Owens just posted this. Our show will be off the air this week. As an update, both the White House and our counterterrorism agencies have confirmed receipt of what I reported publicly. Emmanuel Macron attempted to organize my assassination per a source close to the first couple. Also, I will again state that the French legionnaires were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, but they did not act alone. For all of you who doubted my claims, you can now look to the President of the United States and our intelligence communities to issue a statement to confirm whether I am telling the truth. Once again, that's from Candace Owens about an hour ago on X. All right, 2 turkeys are set to be pardoned by DJT in the Rose Garden later today. Butterball president and CEO John Drain says the birds named Gobble and Waddle are staying at the Willard Hotel in D.C.
They walked the red carpet yesterday coming into the hotel, and now they've got their own suite, and they're just enjoying life before they go see the president.
All right. Former Boulder County DA Alex Hunter has died. He served as Boulder County's DA from 1973 to 2001. He was in office during the investigation of John Benet Ramsey's and her death, and drew criticism for not filing charges against her parents. He was 89 years old. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll will meet with Russian officials today in Abu Dhabi to discuss an end to the war with Ukraine. The meeting will focus on the framework of a peace plan negotiated over the weekend between the U.S. and Ukrainians. More from Buzz Patterson on the Seditious Six, including Jason Crow, those Democrats.
I am very appalled at what the Sedition Six has done with their video. I think it's a violation of their oaths of office, and especially in the case of Senator Mark Kelly, I believe it's a violation of the UCMJ, and I hope that President Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth hold them accountable. They are violating, and they are politically using their positions to undercut the command of President Donald J. Trump, and they're circumventing the chain of command. Congress and members of Senate are not in the chain of command.
Amen. 47 is giving the green light to designate certain chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood as foreign terrorist organizations. The order gives direction to Secretary of State Rubio and Treasury Secretary Bessent to figure out if any chapters should receive the designation. The Rockies removing the interim tag from Warren Schaefer, clearing the way for him to continue managing the team next season. Congratulations to him, or maybe not. The Nuggets in Memphis last night.
They've gone to the switch defensively, and Jamal Murray knocks down his 6th-3 of the game, 27 for Jamal Murray. KCP.
And the Nuggets win it 125-115 over the Grizz. Murray, 29 points, 8 assists, 6 3-pointers. NHL Sharks at the Avalanche tomorrow. The Broncos are getting ready for Washington this weekend. Monday Night Football last night. Christian McCaffrey, 89 yards and a touchdown, and they beat Carolina. 30 in Broomfield, 32 in Highlands Ranch, 33 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy on Thanksgiving week. It is Tuesday morning. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 7-10 5-day forecast will have some clouds, but they'll dissipate into Tuesday morning. Blustery winds and morning temps in the lower 30s. With sunshine Tuesday afternoon will be in the mid-40s, with lows Tuesday night lower 20s. Keeping it dry through the Thanksgiving holiday. Wednesday through Friday, highs lower to mid-50s and lows around the middle and upper 20s. Could still turn cooler with scattered snow likely later on this weekend. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Here's the official statement from the Department of War. The Department of War has received serious allegations of misconduct against Captain Mark Kelly, United States Navy, retired, in accordance with the Uniform Code of Military Justice 10 U.S.C. 688 and other applicable regulations. A thorough review of these allegations has been initiated to determine further actions, which may include recall to active duty for court-martial proceedings or administrative measures. This matter will be handled in compliance with military law, ensuring due process and impartiality. Further, official comments will be limited to preserve the integrity of the proceedings. The Department of War reminds all individuals that military retirees remain subject to the UCMJ for applicable offenses and federal laws, such as 18 U.S.C. 2387, prohibit actions intended to interfere with the loyalty, intended to interfere with the loyalty, morale, or good order and discipline of the armed forces. Any violations will be addressed through appropriate legal channels. All service members are reminded that they have a legal obligation under the UCMJ to obey lawful orders, and that orders are presumed to be lawful. A service member's personal philosophy does not justify or excuse the disobedience of an otherwise lawful order. What are they talking about? Remember this video from the Sedition 6.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
Like us. You all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard
and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
So the Trump administration beginning court-martial proceedings. They're launching an investigation to see if this would be a violation of the UCMJ and that the video was intended to interfere with the loyalty, morale, and good order and discipline of the armed forces. Now, the Sedition 6 saying, no, we're just trying to remind people that they should follow the Constitution, that if it's an unlawful order, they need and are mandated to disobey it. I disagree. You can clearly hear in that video, which was directed at the military, they say so, that the administration is pitting uniformed military against citizens. Now, when asked to explain what are the examples out there of illegal orders, all six have backtracked saying, well, we don't have a specific example, but this is just a reminder. Wrong. This was an effort to interfere with the loyalty, morale, and good order and discipline of the armed forces. I fully believe that Mark Kelly should be brought up on charges, at least investigated for his violation of this. Now, Mark Kelly responding with a long post saying that the president is threatening his life, that this was meant to intimidate him and other members of Congress from doing their jobs and holding this administration accountable. And it won't work. Pete Hegseth responding to that tweet, he also, Mark Kelly had a picture of his uniform. Pete Hegseth responds, so, Captain Kelly, not only did your sedition video intentionally undercut good order and discipline, but you can't even display your uniform correctly. Your medals are out of order. The rows are reversed. When or if you are recalled to active duty, I'll start with a uniform inspection. Wow, it's getting really hot here. Now, question, could Jason Crow be brought up in a similar investigation? No. Representative Jason Crow, while he is in the video and did serve in the military, could not be recalled to the military because he is no longer subject to the UCMJ. The current discussion regarding the potential recall of a veteran to active duty relates to Senator Mark Kelly, a retired Navy captain, military retirees, who held senior officer positions, specifically those commissioned officers who retire with a rank of 04 or higher can remain eligible for recall to military service by law. Jason Crow, who was a captain, an 03 rank in the Army's 75th Ranger Regiment and the 82nd Airborne Division, is a former service member, but he retired at a rank that does not subject him to the same recall status as a senior retired officer like Senator Kelly. Therefore, he cannot be recalled. Bill, what do you make of all this?
I am surprised that Secretary Hegseth is making such a big deal about this and trying to focus on this so much, because I don't think there's any there. So the six in the video were supposed to be directing enlisted members to disobey orders, correct? That's the allegation. But also, we don't have any specific order they're supposed to be telling them not to obey. So tell me how they are spreading disloyalty and countermanding any orders if they're not referring to any specific order. And it's very interesting that even in the reprimand that you read, it does point out lawful orders, which is exactly what the video points out. That's weird. That the reprimand includes the caution that the video includes itself. That's very circular. That's, in other words, you
think
can't do
the
this.
point of that video was just to remind people to follow lawful orders?
Here's the thing. We have gone through this before. That audience that for the video is not enlisted men or women. They know their oath.
Even though it says to the military men and women.
That's okay. It's fine. That doesn't mean they're the intended audience. That can be different based on the message that is being delivered. You have to examine the message and who it's targeted at. And that message is not targeted at the average military member. That average military member is certain to know their oath. The oath that they took that outlines they can follow only legal orders. It's part of it, especially subject to the U.S. Military Justice Code. So that's in there. So I can't figure out what lawful orders these six are telling people to ignore. And if they aren't, then where's the allegation that they are sowing disunity? It's not targeted at the rank and file individuals.
The administration is pitting uniformed military against citizens. That's a direct line from the video.
Yeah, that's a statement to voters.
That's a lie.
That's a statement to voters,
that
not
is a
to
lie
rank and file
to
people.
The military, to those that serve in the military.
Hang on a sec, but that's not what I asked. I asked about the directive. What is the actual order they're telling them to disobey? That's the issue here, is that the administration is saying they're telling the rank and file to disobey orders. What order? Remember last week when it was like, what orders are you asking them to disobey? And they're like, what orders are illegal? They had nothing.
That's
so
because the point
they don't have
to
anything.
Sow disloyalty.
No,
to
not at all.
Disrupt morale.
Nope. Not in the least, because the administration can't. The administration can't point to an order that this group claimed to be illegal, nor can the group point to an order that claimed to be illegal. There's nothing they're asking them to do to disobey any sort of orders, and it's not the intended audience. That audience is for average voters. That's a PR stunt. It's a PR stunt.
To see a young naval attorney that looks like Tom Cruise put Mark Kelly right on the stand there. And get Mark Kelly to go, you can't handle the truth. And then get arrested. He deserves to be. I appreciate that Donald Trump drew a line in the sand. You are no longer going to use our military to drive your political agendas. We have a country to run. And that requires order. That requires soldiers that follow orders, to the point of this official statement from the Department of War. A service member's personal philosophy does not justify or excuse the disobedience of an otherwise lawful order. These seditionist six are disrupting our military's ability to carry out the legal orders of the commander-in-chief. It is seditionist, and I'm thrilled that the Department of War is investigating Mark Kelly for serious allegations of misconduct. All right, want to hear from you. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Suzanne saying, whatever happened to free speech? You don't have, as a former military, as someone who's has to abide by the UCMJ, you cannot use your free speech to encourage the military not to follow lawful orders. There's no free speech protections there. Okay, let's get to advanced hair restoration. Guys, let's talk about your hair. If you're losing it and desire to have it back, then Advanced Hair Restoration has the easiest guaranteed solution. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's not magic, but close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated Dr. Tanya Paul's modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. And Advanced Hair even guarantees it will grow for life. And this is a great time of the year to get your hair done. Get it improved, right? So that come summer, everything looks great. You're ready to rock and roll. Schedule your free consultation now. Go to 720-459-HAIR. If you qualify, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver and has changed the lives of tens of thousands of people. So don't wait. Check out the before and afters online for yourself at 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com, 720-459-HAIR, advancedhair.com. My only hope, Mr. Thorpe, my only wish would be that Jason Crow could be similarly investigated as Mark Kelly. But I'm not going to get that.
Yeah.
All right. We did ask Jason Crow to come on the show.
Yeah.
He did not have the availability.
No.
All right, we'll get to
surprising.
Mary Ralph. We have one open line. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us at 720-819-5115. And we'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
News headline, Pentagon threatens to court-martial Democrat senator over refuse illegal orders video. The seditious six, the Democrats that created that video that's gone ultra-viral, directed two members of the military, saying that the administration is pitting uniformed military against its own citizens and they have a duty to ignore illegal orders. Trump saying, well, if you want to play politics with the military, we'll fight right back, drawing a line in the sand, saying this is unacceptable and you are now going to be investigated for violating the law and could possibly be brought back into the military for court-martial proceedings. Bill, we could end up with a scene right out of A Few Good Men. Mark Kelly sitting up there on the stand, a young Pete Hegseth, investigating, grilling. Did you give the order? I gave the order.
Oh, yeah, that'll work out real well for the administration.
Be amazing.
But recall Mark Kelly, put him on trial for a video he posted. That's going to go over real well. Go right ahead.
Broke the law.
Go right ahead and do that one.
Broke the law.
Go right ahead.
Mr.
Yeah,
Thorpe.
Posting a video is the top level.
Interfering with the
it's
loyalty,
the
morale,
top level
and
of
good
priority
order.
for what the military is going to do. Their warrior culture because of a video that's been threatened. That's great. I feel so much safer now with the Warriors being threatened by a video. That's
Suzanne
wonderful.
asking, why only single out Mark Kelly? It's because he was the only one that reached a rank high enough to be able to do this.
In other words, Suzanne, he's the only one they can punish. They can't punish anybody else, so they have to reach out and punish the only one they can. That's the reason. That's the only reason at all. They just want to extract their pound of flesh. They're trying to extract.
Following the law.
Yeah, just like the video was following the law, too. That's weird.
Yeah, right.
It was.
Okay, let's get to the phone lines. Mary in Wyoming. Good morning, Mary. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey, good morning. This was a hot topic this weekend, too. So you had some really incredibly good people calling in. And, Bill, none of them believed that this was poo-poo, kind of thing. It was, in other words, the issue is, one of the issues that was brought up was the how woke the Pentagon still is. And those people are still in those positions. So it isn't just for, and I agree, it's focused for politically for the voters, but also it was a message to them. You had one excellent, I wish he's going to be statement. She was just before John Caldera. I'm hoping one of your listeners out there can do a better job of calling in and reviewing what she said. She was just spot on. She took that video apart. She said at the very beginning, not only do they identify who they are and their rank, their credentials, and then the way that they, how they go through it is now. They weren't talking about in the future. They were addressing that this administration, and it is now that you need to deal with it. And then there were some other good points that she made. I mean, they were excellent. Also, you got to, Bill, have you guys, did you forget that the Navy refused to do the, not refuse, that's the wrong word. But the Navy will not use its troops to help with the ICE raids. The National Guard, remember that was quite, it was just kind of mentioned, but it was not made a big deal. So they're saying, no, this is, and you look at the time, to be able to put that video together with all the right words, etc., there was a lot of effort.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree that there was a lot of effort. It was a PR video that was focused towards voters. It wasn't directed towards military members. It was supposed to do exactly what it's doing right now, which is create a lot of buzz, create a lot of consternation, and become a talking point. That's why it took so long to put together. That's why it is so slick, and that's why it closes the way that it does. That entire final 20 seconds it just is proof positive in my mind that it is not mentioned or focused on military members. That is a message to voters. That's it's just not, and that's the
And
issue.
I would say to both. I would say to both. It's voters definitely, but it's also to those members, especially those woke ones out there, to continue the battle.
I think it's gaslighting to say it wasn't for the troops when they say this is for the troops. Like, can they say that explicitly at the beginning of the video? They're talking to the military. So I think that's an effort to deflect and gaslight all of us who are righteously frustrated over this effort to create sedition within our military. Mary, Wyoming, I sure appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Phone lines jam-packed. Quickly jump in if you want to get on Mary's line, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Let's go to Celeste in Denver. Good morning, Celeste. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning. I am a retired Air Force JAG, and I do not agree with what these six did. Even if, Billy, that it was directed at the public in general, you're dealing with 18-year-olds who are in the military, and if they take this as a rallying cry and they're in a situation and they just say, I'm not gonna follow whatever my lieutenant just told me. They just refuse because these six said this. Now we've got an issue, and this poor, one striper is going to go and be court-martialed because he refused the orders of his commanders.
All right, isn't Celeste,
that is wrong.
Celeste, isn't the duty to disobey often reinforced internally inside the military, and it's contained inside of the oath, correct?
It is. What they're saying is not untrue. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But it's a very bad way to do it. The military trains on this. People are trained on what to do if they have an order that they think is illegal. There are channels to do, but to have a congressperson just come up, just disobey it. You hope that that 18-year-old remembers his training and knows where to go to complain about what that person thinks is an illegal order. But if they don't, say we're in the heat of battle, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I see that, Celeste. But Celeste, are we really thinking that during the heat of battle, someone is scrolling through their video feed and seeing Mark Kelly and the others now telling them not to do it? I mean, that seems
they don't have to look at it right then. It could be something they saw last week, last month.
But hang on a sec. If they are persuaded, Celeste, by a video they saw from Mark Kelly and the other people in that video, and they forget their training, that's on the military. The military training, as you have outlined, has already taught them the process, the procedure, and their duty to disobey. All of that has been covered. Hang on. All of that has been covered. All of that has been instructed. So I fail to see where the video provides anything telling them to do anything illegal, and it doesn't identify a specific order. This is a video that was directed towards the voting population, specifically because of what you said, because you did outline the service members are routinely trained on this. They didn't need this message. They know this message.
Hold on.
The people that needed the message, where's the voters?
Bill, in your mind, our military is trained so well to be able to ignore what these seditious six said.
Yes. And the reason why is I believe that we have the absolute best fighting force this planet has ever seen.
And what happens if an 18-year-old doesn't? And their lives ruined as a result of the seditious six.
Okay, hang on a sec. Did they tell them to disobey a specific order or anything else? Did anything that they outlined?
They generated disloyalty.
Did anything that they outlined?
Let's go ahead.
Did anything? The question I've got is: did anything that they say differ from what the military instructs them to do as well?
They lied. But go ahead, Celeste. Go ahead.
Billy, all of your arguments come from a perspective of I don't know how old you are, 40-year-old, 50-year-old man. When you get 18-year-olds and you get a bunch of them together, even though they've been trained, they do stupid things. I mean, we're all trained, don't steal, but how many people do we prosecute for stealing, both in and out of the military? It happens.
Yeah, Celeste, though, but Celeste, you also discount Celeste.
You've got to understand that, and you've got to appreciate that, and we just can't put that seed of confusion. Let's put it that way, because they're going to be sitting there thinking, well, geez, if this congressman is telling me there's illegal orders out there, I must be missing them. I better go look for them. That's how an 18-year-old brain thinks.
Here's the thing, Celeste. Celeste, I appreciate what you said, but I wasn't born this big. I had to be an 18-year-old guy at some point. We both acknowledge that. So telling me that I don't understand the perspective of an 18-year-old, I'm sorry. I disagree. I was one. I did dumb things. I understand, but however, at the time, I wasn't trained by the military to be a lethal killer. I wasn't given firearms and told to go out there and to kill people. So all I'm saying is, but Celeste, with respect, if we have the ability to train an 18-year-old to pick up a firearm and to go wage war, I think they have enough delineation to go through the idea of the duty to disobey. The idea that this person that we have trained so well, in fact, we will entrust them with weapons of war, is going to be persuaded by a video. I disagree. And if they are, our training sucks.
No, Bill, the issue is you have 6 former members of the military that you have to now push back on. That's the problem.
Not at all.
Yes,
no.
That is why
you're
getting into disloyalty, a disruption of morale, and good order. You're sitting here, Bill, doubling down, saying, well, I sure hope the training's good enough. For what? For what? To push back on 6 Democrats that have infected our military with bad reasoning and bad thinking, and it's unconscionable that they have to deal with that.
If they were infected by it, they don't know what they're doing in the first place. If they were infected by this, the average rank and file person is going to ignore this. They've heard this message. It was in their oath of office. They know the duty to disobey. This isn't new.
What I want to say is, as much as you're pushing back, you were an 18-year-old. I was a JAG 20 years. I saw it every day. I saw things. So it's not that I don't know what I'm talking about. I was there. I was prosecuting people. And you would be surprised. People are trained, and yet they go off and do things that you just can't imagine, It happens. It happens. And we don't need to be putting things out there that are going to muddy the waters. And that's what this did.
Yep,
it muddied the waters for these young people.
It did.
I think
Celeste,
you're
it did exactly what the oath of office said.
Exactly right.
It followed exactly what the oath of office said. All these people are drilled on it. You admitted that. That's it. So it didn't depart from anything they regularly
They
hear.
lied, Bill. They
No,
lied. They said the administration is pitting uniformed military against its own citizens. That's ridiculous. Celeste, thank you so very much. Loved your experience and bringing some sanity to this conversation. All right. Give us a call. Celeste lines open, 303-696-1971. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Let's talk Mountain High Appliance. If you're looking to upgrade your kitchen, laundry room, or outdoor cooking area, look no further than Mountain High Appliance. Family owned and operated for the past 31 years. They have hundreds of appliances hooked up for your true try before you buy experience. They offer professional delivery and installation. Shop confidently with the price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best deal and special financing options. When it's time for appliances, think Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store. 3 locations in the Denver metro area or online at mountainhighappliance.com. Mountainhighappliance.com. We'll continue. The debate is hot. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
is hot here on the Jeff and Bill Show, and it's not just the temperature in the room. The Pentagon threatening to court-martial Democrat senator over his refuse illegal orders video. They're going after Mark Kelly. I wish they could go after Jason Crow, but he didn't reach the high enough rank in order for this investigation into a violation of the UCMJ to kick in. And unfortunately, the voters of Colorado will probably keep Jason Crow around. But he's an embarrassment, especially in light of this video.
Yeah. And recall Mark Kelly, then court-martial him, and he easily becomes one of the top 2 candidates for president in the next cycle. Easily.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, yeah,
These guys
easily.
are embarrassed. I think the American people have had enough. All right, let's go to Wade in Denver. Good morning, Wade. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning. I have just a couple quick questions to pose about this concept of illegal orders in the context of these alleged drug boats. So let's suppose instead of using a Reaper drone to blow them out of the water, we actually stop and capture them and give them a trial, give them a lawyer, give them all the due process, and they're convicted beyond a reasonable doubt. And let's suppose the president then says, okay, they've been convicted, take them out and shoot them. Would that be a legal order, or would it be proper for someone to say, I'm sorry, Mr. President, we don't have the death penalty for drug smuggling. We cannot do that. Scenario number 2, let's suppose that instead of blowing them out of the water, we stop them and we find fentanyl on board, tons and tons of fentanyl. Would it be a legal order for the president to say, okay, you stop the boats, you see fentanyl on the boat, line up everybody and machine gun them to death? Would that be a legal order, or would somebody in the Coast Guard say, Mr. President, we can't just machine gun the people to death without a trial? Third scenario, no trial, no finding of fentanyl. We just think there's drugs on the boat, so we're going to send a Grim Reaper drone out there to blow them out of the water. So what do you think about those
I mean, Wade,
concepts,
those are
Kevin?
great questions. Do you think it's right for a soldier, 18, 19 years old, to be weighing those different scenarios, the philosophical, the political, the moral implications, all of that right there with orders being given to him by his commanding officer?
Well, we've had that principle for a long time. This is not new.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
You think 19-year-olds are evaluating whether or not the war in Iraq was justified and they should shoot the terrorists and engage the folks on the ground? You think that they should be debating right then and there whether or not George Bush lied to them with regards to weapons of mass destruction, or do you think they're there to follow the orders of their commanding officer?
Well, it really depends. I mean, either one of us can come up with all sorts of scenarios. I'm old enough to remember a scene from the Vietnam War, a very famous scene when there was a supposedly member of the Viet Cong that was standing on the side of the road, I think with his hands tied behind him, and somebody in the, I think it was in the Vietnamese military, comes up with it looked like a .38 and puts it right next to his head and shoots him in the head. Boom. So let's suppose that had been an American instead of Vietnamese. And someone said, well, this guy's with the Viet Cong, just take him out and shoot him in the head. I mean, again, I don't think this concept of the military's obedience is primarily to the Constitution, not to the president. I don't think that's a new concept. I agree with you. There's all sorts of nuances. There's all sorts of scenarios where we could say, geez, is it really right to have our troops having to weigh these constitutional issues? I agree that would be problematic, but I think that's the law. That's about all I have to say.
Wade,
Over.
appreciate the call.
Appreciate that,
Thanks
Wade.
so much.
Nice.
Wade's line is open, 303-696-1971. Let's go to Bruce in Westminster. Good morning, Bruce. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, guys. You have got smart callers. The people who have the wisdom, and the experience, and hopefully the courage to refuse illegal orders are the generals and admirals. And unfortunately, we don't have those. It shouldn't be done by 18-year-olds. It should be done by 45-year-olds who have chickens on their shoulders or stars on their shoulders. And we do illegal orders all the time, and they're glorified, like bombing Iran. How could the U.S. Air Force bomb Iran? That was an illegal order. president is not allowed to do that. Or who was it? Obama bombed an aspirin factory, or George Bush had a whole war without a declaration of Congress.
Yeah, I think Obama had 560 plus drone strikes in countries we had not declared war against: Pakistan,
Right.
Yemen, and Somalia.
Yeah, and at least somebody didn't put out a video back then, because oh boy, scary.
But they should have, and it should be directed against the admirals and generals, and yet they're not.
Yeah,
Right?
I do appreciate that, Bruce. I think, and thanks for the phone call. I do appreciate that this is higher up as far as the chain of command in my mind, as well as far as when you get to the idea of illegal orders and where you're putting those young servicemen and women into harm's way. There is somewhat accountability up the chain of command, but oh boy, is that a heavy lift for another day.
His line is open if you want to give us a call, 303-696-1971. Let's go to Ralph in Colorado Springs. Good morning, Ralph. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning, Ralph.
I'm going to make 3 quick points. First, the chain of command, which everybody is bowing down to, is subordinate, and that includes draft dodging Donald to the Constitution and the laws of the United States. Period. End of message. Second, what Wayne described was a little village in Vietnam called My Lai. It was illegal. It was the order of a lieutenant, and Cali was convicted.
Ralph, what illegal order has Trump
control.
given? Ralph, what illegal order has Trump given?
Well, I'm going to leave that up to, how shall I say? The question is not what illegal order has Trump given, because I am not in the military anymore. When I was in the military, I was playing around in Vietnam, and I was essentially a bird colonel. I was a captain and a bird colonel.
So Ralph, we've got to run.
And I
appreciate the call.
Yeah, thanks
You're
for the call,
listening
Ralph.
to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is KNUS.